Hi y'all, it's me. I'm here with my next guest design team project for Diemond Dies. For those who don't know, Diemond Dies makes steel ruled dies, and I will put the links down below for you. Please go check out the shop. There's some amazing shapes there, and I'm sure you'll find something that will fit your crafting needs. They have beautiful dies, and I've been pushing them to the limit with the materials I've been cutting with them. So I'm very impressed at how well they do that, not just paper. So if you place an order for $35 or more, you'll get a 10% discount and free shipping with the code ThanksGina. So I appreciate you using that, and I hope you do, because you're bound to love everything they have. So as you know, I try to think outside the box a little bit and use my dies and other things in ways that they were not specifically intended. This time I decided to take the canning jar mini book die, and I love this die. Last time I used it to make recipe cards, and now I've used it for something else. So let me show you what that is. And this is, again, the mason jar. Right here, you can see there. Love that die to pieces. So what I thought of was to create gift bags, and I love the way they turned out. I did about 4, and I'll show those to you in just a moment. I laid the muslin on the cutting pad with my die, and I just cut it out, and as you can see, it did a fabulous job. I took out my sewing machine, which I'm not fond of, but I've had it since I was 17 and I still don't sew. But I managed to draw a line, sew here on the sides just to close it up. Mind you, the opening isn't so large, but you can fill stuff in there. You could use these for wedding favors, showers, birthday parties, gift bags, whatever. Even just to send a friend a small token. So what else I also used on here was I used the bow die, which you can see here, and I used the medium bow. I cut it out of burlap. Now, burlap is a tough fabric to cut, but this die did really well. I had to use just a snip of the scissors on a couple of places, but for the most part it cut it out perfectly. So I used that there. And then I also used the button die, and as you can see, I cut those out of burlap as well, and that's this button die right here. You get 5 different buttons, which I love. And I added some twine and then sewed them onto the bag as well. So super cute way to use your die for something other than what it was intended. Next, I decided to make one out of some sheer kind of fabric. Again, it worked really well. It cut it out really simply. As you can see here, I have all the goodies that I'm giving in there, all kind of stuff, so they do fit. The opening's just tiny, as I said. On this particular one, I cut it out with the die. Then I used my sewing machine and did a casing up here for my seam binding so that I could have a drawstring closure on this one. I then used this beautiful crochet doily that I got from Tatiana, which I love, so thank you, Tatiana, for that. And then I used the realistic rose die, which is this one. I love this die. It's extremely versatile, and I used that to make this beautiful flower, and as you can see, it's quite dimensional. I love it. And you can make it in so many different ways. It doesn't necessarily have to be as dimensional all the time, but you do have that option. So that was the next one, and I thought that came out really well. Then the next one I decided to create was this one here. And I used some cotton fabric. I put some pearls for the handle. I used the beautiful monarch butterfly die from Diemond Dies right here. And look at how beautifully that cut the felt. That's felt, and it just cut it like butter. So beautiful. So I double layered it and added some pearls down the center. I placed 2 of those on here, which I think are so lovely. This is an applique I got from Nita and a pearl from my collection. So there's that one there. And then last but not least, I decided to try this one here. And for this one, I used the same thing. I used the die to cut the mason jar. I used some seam binding and some bows up top. I used the bow die again for this one, and I also ran it through my embossing folder to give it the polka dots to match the fabric. So I used this one right here. And the background that would be the 5th of the Labels 2 Top Note Nesting die. It's the 5th one that I used to create that, and I sewed that onto the bag as well before I sealed the sides. I added some flowers from Handicraft Suppliers as well as the butterfly with some little pearls in the center, and these leaves from my stash, and I think they're so darling. Again, they can be used for so many different occasions. So be sure and check out Diemond Dies. I'm sure you'll be able to create, and remember to think outside of the box. Don't always stay in that mold that was created for you. So see you all next time. Do what makes you happy. Bye for now.